Welcome to the Neon Shadow series. Episode 12. The Foxy Lady's Last Dance. We made it out. I keep telling myself that. We made it out. Kael is sleeping in the back. Real sleep. Not that chemical-induced coma they keep them in between shifts at the mines. I sat there for an hour just watching his chest move up and down, making sure it was real. We crashed hard into Shan's hangar. I thought that was the end right there. We hit the deck plates like a meteorite made of bad intentions and desperation. I told Vance to lay down covering fire. The last thing I heard before the freight elevator doors closed was his repeater rifle singing its ugly song against the triad armor. I went down. Into the core. You think you know heat, kid? You don't know heat until you've stood next to a fusion reactor that's decided it wants to be a supernova. It was a blinding, angry violet light that felt like it was cooking the marrow inside my bones. The sound. It wasn't a roar. It was a scream that vibrated in your teeth. And there was Shan, up on his shielded gantry, drinking tea, watching the world burn from the cheap seats. He had Kael chained to the lower railing, right next to the plasma arcs. He looked at me and smiled that reptile smile. He said, "They are necessary ballast, Juno. If I unlock them, the energy surge destroys my escape pod." He was going to let my brother vaporize just so he could have a smooth ride out of the apocalypse. Then the Xylosians crashed the party. The ceiling blew in, and suddenly it was bugs versus triads above us, and the core screaming below us. The automated voice started counting down. 10 seconds to total containment failure. 10 seconds until everyone down there turned into plasma. I looked at Kael. He was barely conscious. He just shook his head at me. He knew. I had a choice. The only choice left. I didn't carry them down there. They were still in Foxy's hold, up in the hangar bay. But I had the remote release codes on my wrist. I pressed the button. I didn't see them leave the ship, but I felt it down in the mine. The air suddenly got thick with ozone. And then, the violet light just vanished. It was replaced by this blinding, pure blue wave. It wasn't an explosion. It was an exhale. A massive, planet-wide sigh of relief. It washed over the core, over me, over Kael. It knocked us flat. When I stood up, the heat was gone. The roar was gone. The core was humming a quiet, steady blue tune. They did it. The lumens. They dove right into the fire. They didn't hesitate. They were harmonizers. They saw the biggest broken thing in our world, and they fixed it, at the cost of everything they were. I bought my brother's life with 12 stars. I'll have to live with that trade every day for the rest of my life. The rest is a blur. I grabbed the keys off a stunned guard, freed Kael. We left Sean up there on the gantry, screaming. The blue wave fried his fancy escape pod. I hope he likes the heat down there. We got back to the hangar. Vance was alive somehow. And Foxy, she was dead. Main couplings blown, no power. But the ship was glowing, just faintly. That residual lumen energy was soaking into the hull plating. I sat in this chair, I slapped the dead console, and I begged her for one more miracle. And she woke up. She didn't run on fusion. She ran on ghost tonight. We blasted through the hangar roof, literally made our own exit, and rode a tail of blue fire straight up to orbit. So here we are. Most wanted people in the system. Shan's empire is broken, the Xylosians are scattering, and the lower sectors actually have clean air for the first time in a century. We should run, we should find a jump gate and never look back. But Vance showed me something while Kael was sleeping. Data he pulled from Shan's private server. Old Earth files. Look at that smog, kid. Really look at it. Vance says the patterns aren't natural. He says the shroud isn't pollution, it's architecture. It's an orbital dampening field. A machine built 50 years ago to choke out the sun. Someone turned the lights out on purpose. Someone decided we belonged in the dark. I'm done running. I'm done just trying to survive the shadows. We're going to find out who built that machine. We're going to find the plug. And we are going to pull it until the sky bleeds light. Challo, Foxy Lady, the dance isn't over yet.